Hello out there. Welcome to another edition of Couch Talk with CV. This is the couch, and this is CV. And looks like I have a special guest here today. So I do have a couple of cats, a boy and a girl, and they have pretty much have free reign in my place. So with these videos I'm making, they may make guest appearances. In fact, they did in my first video that I posted for my channel. This one right here, her name's Bianca. She did. The other, his name's Leandro. And anyways, many pet owners know they're our pals and our family. So anyhow, today's topic is why are we not talking much more about consciousness and how it can explain religion and spirituality. First, I'd like to just remind everybody that the channel here is Primate Evolved. Also, I have a site called primateevolved.com, which has the blog versions of my, the written blog versions of my video blogs. So please do visit primateevolved.com, and also feel free to leave comments here, the channel. As always, I remind everyone that if you do leave comments, again, please keep the conversation as civil as possible. And that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Again, the topic today is why are we not talking much more about consciousness, the term consciousness, and how it can explain religion and spirituality. Now, I will say real quick that I know consciousness, we still do not fully understand it. So we're still trying to understand what exactly it means and how it works and so forth. And we have some idea, a general definition of our how we perceive, or our perceptiveness and about the world around us, and within ourselves. But still a little bit of mystery. However, because religion and spirituality are also, pretty big topics, and a good portion of the world is either religious and or spiritual. Today we're going to dive into, again, understanding the link with consciousness and the ideas of religion and spirituality. Let's go ahead and get started here. So the rise of the spiritual but not religious movement in recent years has revealed some significant shifts in society. More and more people are becoming disenchanted with organized religion. More and more people are searching for truth and meaning in their life. More and more people are turning to alternative forms of spiritual, metaphysical guidance. For example, the law of attraction, the idea that energy, I put that in quotes, though not quite the scientific kind, drives our behaviors, that crystals have healing powers, and the growing idea that everyone can have their own truth. More and more fundamentalist religious people are fiercely defending and proselytizing their beliefs as a strong reaction against spiritual but not religious movements and, of course, non-believers. More and more people are giving up on religion and spirituality altogether. Atheism and agnosticism are on the rise, comprising now about 20% of the total U.S. population. Religion, like politics and other hot-button subjects, stirs up a rash of debates. And now with social media in full force, not a day goes by in which someone proclaims their love for God. Believers from various faith backgrounds get in heated debates about who's right and who's wrong. And non-believers get fed up with it all and tear apart the contradictions in religious traditions. The Abrahamic religions, that would be Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, get the most attention. Non-believer outsiders are continually confounded, and for good reason, about why the adherents of Abrahamic religions, all of which essentially believe in the same God, are constantly at war with each other. And whether that fighting has been more of a Cold War or full-on genocidal movements that have plagued humanity for over the past few thousand years, is still quite baffling and tremendously atrocious. So much blood, as in millions of people, so much blood has been shed in the name of religion, and even more hypocritically among the Abrahamic traditions, which proclaim to teach peace, love, and forgiveness. Meanwhile, people who are not into organized religion yet still have an intrinsic need to believe in something supernatural or as some form of spiritual meaning, are often lifelong seekers who want to feel connected to something greater than themselves. On one hand, that can teach humility in the understanding that we are all a microcosm of time and existence, and why we must make the most of our spiritual potential while we still can. On the other hand, the term spirituality is, or perhaps always has been, a widely ambiguous term. Does it mean an actual supernatural being? Does it mean the universe is somehow in control? Does it mean believing in chakras or healing crystals? Does it mean believing in astrology? Does it mean our fundamental relationship with nature? Or is it simply about mindfulness? Or is it that all spiritual seekers, religious or otherwise, are flat out delusional? In 2006, Richard Dawkins, a well-known evolutionary biologist and pretty strident atheist, sent an earthquake-like ripple effect throughout the modern world by bluntly addressing that very subject, calling it the God delusion, also the title of his book. The late Christopher Hitchens, a long-term journalist with Vanity Fair and No Holds Barred debater, penned his own attack on religion and God is not great, how religion poisons everything. Sam Harris, a now well-known neuroscientist and intellectual, explained his call to move away from religion in his 2004 book, The End of Faith. Many other books by now prominent atheists have been published as well, though the three mentioned above are attributed to the rise of what's called New Atheism throughout the past 20 years. That is, it's been heavily driven tour de force of atheists standing up against religious indoctrination and also empowering skepticism. A few years ago, I overheard someone refer to atheism as the new homosexuality. In other words, atheists and agnostics have been the new wave of people, hiding in the closet. And coming out of that closet has been just as painful, if not sometimes more painful, as what most homosexuals have gone through, or went through prior, I should say, to the last 10 years or so here in the Midwest. It's improved some, still has a ways to go, but it's improved. Families unbelievably split apart over beliefs. Formerly religious people who come out are completely cast out by their once church community and friends. And you can even watch videos on YouTube of atheist kids coming out to their parents and the parents exploding in agony and confusion. That's not how I raised you, and what about your relationship with Jesus, and how could you do this to us? Yes, it is deeply embedded in our psyche to learn about the purpose in life, or learn about our purpose in life. We yearn to find truth. Everyone thinks about their own mortality. Why are we here in this world? Who or what created us? Why does it matter to have morals? Why is human companionship so important to us? Is this all just one fantastically exhilarating yet catastrophic dream? Are we a bunch of wired, interconnected brains floating around in a vat, monitored by extraterrestrials? Do we really need a higher power to guide us through life? What will be like if there is, in fact, an afterlife? Will I still be my same age? Will I still be able to change my appearance? Will I be able to change my appearance to whatever I want? Will I have emotions? Will I just be a ghostly gob of molecular energy? Will I no longer be composed of atoms? These questions are not meant to put you in a perpetual state of analysis paralysis, although it probably does sound that way. Rather, they all aggregate up to a word that sounds pretentiously lofty and academic, yet is actually something familiar to all of us, and that word is consciousness. Consciousness is awareness. It's being well aware of your thoughts. It's your perception about yourself and the world around you. It connects you to your feelings. It drives your need for a meaning that transcends just being a living, breathing organism that eats, sleeps, and reproduces. It helps you hold on to your experiences and make as much sense about them as you possibly can. We are still learning about consciousness. To this day, nobody has yet been able to explain how exactly our brains produce consciousness. We just know that consciousness is a function of brain activity. Beyond that, it is still a mystery. Some may even refer to this as the soul. Whatever it may be, it has certainly been a core reason why we as humans have evolved from various stages of primate to the most advanced species on the planet. The beauty of consciousness is that it can be independent of religion and spirituality, particularly because we're still trying to understand it. yet can explain the deeper reasons why we gravitate towards the supernatural. Humans throughout the ages have created and shared stories to explain our existence, our role in this world, our connection to the supernatural throughout the ages. Carl Jung, a well-known psychologist in the 20th century and still an influential figure in social science, wrote extensively about the myths and their role in discovering human potential, overcoming adversity, and how to find our own individual meaning. Jung, as Joseph Campbell, a professor of comparative literature and religion, and Mircea Eliade, historian of religion and philosophy, collectively broke down in extraordinary detail our stages of life, not only into birth, adulthood, and death, but also as our relationship to the heroes in mythological stories. The heroes of those stories, and also from the great religious traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all have common characteristics and themes. The basic structures of a hero myth basically go like this. The hero is born under unusual circumstances, be it, say, a virgin birth or sent by gods, etc., and destined for something great and transformational for the entire world. The hero discovers his or her purpose, often by being christened by another hero who has already completed his journey. Think Obi-Wan Kenobi passing the power of the Force to Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars series, or by mystically, supernaturally receiving a message about an important quest to complete. The hero has to prove his or her worth to participate in the quest. The Buddha and Jesus passed 3 temptations before fully embracing their respective missions. For example, and the hero undergoes some form of passion, fights a tyrannical being, Perseus versus Medusa, Osiris versus Set, or is killed on Earth and must undergo a transformation in underworld or other temporary state of being before returning to Earth. The goddess Inanna, for example, is executed by demons and then rescued from an underworld 3 days later. Jesus is crucified and resurrects 3 days later. And finally, if the hero is killed, she is often resurrected, and the believers in this become fully aware of their journey and achieving some form of redemption or salvation. The above breakdown is a super simplified version. I may even write a separate article, do a separate video on the hero's journey itself, though there are already many excellent books and articles on the subject. Point being, we humans are the products of stories told throughout the ages, and even if we carefully study these stories without letting any personal biases or contradictory beliefs cloud our understanding, we can learn a whole lot about how to navigate our existence and find our special purpose in life. Joseph Campbell referred to it as following your bliss. Whatever you want to call it, the key message is that we must do the best we can to connect with our consciousness. We all seek some kind of center in our life. Mircea Eliade referred to it as the sacred. Christians call it salvation through Christ. Indigenous cultures look to nature and the spirits embodied within it. The center is what keeps you anchored and on a path to understanding meaning in your life. Sadly, the spiritual metaphysical center is often or that spiritual metaphysical center is often corrupted. Just about every tradition, belief system, etc., has fundamentalist purists, and that's just not limited to Western traditions. The problem is in every corner of the world, when instead we should move away from a hardline literal understanding of beliefs, and we should focus on the context. What is the deeper truth in the Hercules story? Or the Dionysus story, or the Moses story. And that deeper truth rests in our consciousness, should we choose to embrace it. Thanks for watching.